preserve the basic design, which means a long hood, short deck, where the driver's his butt is almost on the rear wheel, right? So it's a very extreme proportion. And then you take some of the things that have always been part of the Viper is that Coke bottle shape. In this car, you know, my favorite's the 96 Coupe. I really still like that voluptuous body. So we try to take some of those elements and bring them back in a way. We make it very contemporary. So a lot of the details in the car really have a lot to do with its cooling requirements of the vehicle, the fact that the engine is so long, sets up the hood, the visibility. A lot of it, because the car is made of carbon fiber and polymers, you don't have to worry so much about shapes. A lot of people don't realize metal is very difficult to shape. So when you work with composites and carbon fibers, you can do anything you want. So that's why the vehicle has such exotic shapes. So we take advantage of that. So we're starting with the hood. It's really kind of modeled after the human body. There's a lot of beautiful what we call positives, negatives, and then further dips. So when you're driving the car, it looks like you're looking down somebody's back. You know, where your spinal column is. It's a very sensuous shape. A lot of built-in aerodynamic treatments, the whole front end. We learned a lot through our ACR program. Doing the splitter on the front of the vehicle, we actually integrated that into the design this time. So the front fascia actually creates what we call negative lift. It actually creates a little bit of downforce, so at high speeds the car can do well over 200 miles an hour. But the big deal is being stable at that speed. Any car could go there. If you make it slippery enough, you can do that, but you have to compromise using drag as downforce. So that's what we've done there. Taking not one more ounce of cooling than we need, because too much opening actually hurts the top speed. And then this is actually functional to create the pocket of air. It kind of vents the air out of the wheel. It helps cooling, but also release pressure. These are functional as well. This is actually from our racing program. We learned that there's a lot of negative pressure here. As the wind goes over, it actually sucks air from behind the radiator. It helps cooling. It also relieves pressure. It keeps the nose from lifting at high speed.
You also added LEDs.
Yeah. One of the things I love about this generation is took a lot of weight out of the sequential lid, so we have much better flow into the engine bay. The engine's lighter, by about 25 to 26 pounds fully dressed, thanks to an aluminum flywheel, the manifold, and actually optimizing the block. Even though it's still a V10, the block is brand new. We optimized cooling passages, strengthening the block, and also went back to forged pistons, which a lot of tuners will love. So the engine is very robust and is really open to the future. So leave it at that.
Can we hear that? Hint.
Can't say much more.
Hint, right?
This whole, you can see how light the hood is. It's a little wiggly, and that's normal for a carbon fiber. But once it's set down, it actually stiffens up and it's located. So it's very light. One of the heaviest parts of a car can be the hood, so very light there. The cockpit. In terms of styling, this door is actually the only metal car. This and the sill are made out of aluminum.
So that's on the real hard metal part?
Yeah, everything. And it's the reason we made aluminum is for strength, but also for weight. It's a new process called superformed aluminum. It's a heated. Before you stamp it, you heat it a special way. Aluminum normally can't do this. Only metal can do it, but it would have been much too heavy with metal. It's a very difficult shape. If you look at this undercut, that's impossible without superforming to get that level of shape. And the sill, because of heat, the exhaust runs through there. We had to make it out of metal. We tried other things, but it actually melts it. There's so much heat coming out of there. And I'm a big believer that, especially with SRTs, if you're going to put scoops on a car, they better work. So this is actually a very functional part of the car. This Gilles, which has been a symbol of the Viper's design forever. We've actually really kind of pushed it this time, really making it a whole part of the body side. That line that comes out of the scoop goes all the way here, kind of crosses over and becomes a shoulder. So it really creates a very dramatic line. And part of it splits away here, creating this elongated DLO. We added this is functional, so the air, it doesn't cool the brakes, it actually cools the differential. The air goes through the pillar all the way down. The differential gets very hot on a high performance vehicle because it's working overtime. When you're turning the car, you're putting so much power through this. We actually run air because that differential is so isolated inside the car, it doesn't get any cooling naturally. So we force air this way, it cools it off. The brakes, even though they need cooling, the rear brakes don't work anywhere near as hard as the front, so they don't require as much cooling. We brought back the double bubble roof, try to get as much height as we can. We've increased the overall room for tall guys. A big complaint of the old car was sitting inside, so we've added about 30 millimeters of overall height. We changed the bulkhead a lot, so we've got about 90 millimeters of travel. So by going to the shell seats and the increased room, you have a much better situation. The seats are lighter, they're cooler looking, they keep you in place. It's one of my favorite. We'll talk about the interior in a second. One of my favorite parts.
You still burn your legs?
No, much better. We've managed the installation. I don't know of anyone burning their legs. My lawyers would say, huh? So anyway, so kind of keeping a lot of the lines of the car. If you were to park them next to each other, you realize how different they really are. Obviously, the back window is now a plan view window instead of cutting through the side.
Of course.
That makes the shoulder very strong. And what we've done here is we've taken the shoulder and really amped it up a lot. So when you're looking at a car on the freeway, when you finally see them on the road, you'll see how wide it is. The car is as wide as legally is allowed. I mean, any wider and we'd have to run clearance lights on the car, those lights you see on heavy-duty trucks. So it's right at the maximum in terms of width, but beautifully sculpted. And then finally, this wing, we've been playing with the height. The production car is actually taller. This is a show car. It's slightly taller for aero. We've been tweaking. This part of the car is one of the most critical for high-speed stability and also for the look of the car. So I love the way that looks, where you have a continuous line from one side of the vehicle all the way around to the other. It makes for a very wide, beautiful, and also a very simple design. So the goal with this car was to make it gorgeous but timeless. So hopefully it'll look good for many, many years, and you'll be at a car show like this 10 years from now and it'll still look hot.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of the carbon fiber here too.
We use it here. It's functional. It's all real. All the carbon is real. Actually, this panel and the hood are all carbon fiber.
Wow.
But we don't expose it because it's very difficult to get that much carbon fiber to be what we call Class A. So it is carbon fiber. In the future, we can look at organizing carbon fiber in such a way that we could actually show it off. So we'll keep that as an opportunity one day. But this on the GTS is carbon fiber. On the regular SRT version of this car, it's body color. So you can have it either way. So this time around, we have a lot more choices. We have multiple interior colors, multiple exterior stripes. We're gonna have a lot of fun with making this vehicle very custom.
Yes, and you said the incredible interior.
Yeah. Oh, I think the key is not.
The keys are in it.
I don't know where they are, but anyway, the interior totally redesigned, 100% new. It's all leather wrapped this time around, so it's every surface is wrapped, whether it's high-grade vinyl and the GTS, 100% leather on the interior. It gives you the car the phenomenal smell. You know, you ever store an older car and you open the door, you smell that incredible leather. A lot of people don't drive these cars much more than once a month or something, so it really gives you a sense of
around
occasion.
here.
Except the ones that live in the south. We're very, very proud of this. It's really about fit and finish, really taking the execution levels to a world-class level. So we're excited to finally have something that kind of shows off a lot of the best parts of the new Chrysler group.
And being part of the Ferrari group, I mean, being part of
I get in trouble when I talk about
no, but being part of Fiat actually helps. Like, I think you sourced the same seats from Ferrari?
Just Sabelt is a supplier, but that's really it. I don't want to kind of, mislead anyone to think Ferrari helped us with that. They have their own projects, we have our own projects. But people may think that on the internet, hey, part of the group, they expect certain levels, but the way I look at it, we have to bring our game up so that we can be set in the same, why not one day have two people, one guy has a Ferrari, one has a Viper, and they're hanging out talking about it and love both cars, so it's all good.
But the Grand Cherokee actually helped with the Maserati too, right?
Whatever. It's all in the family, so it's good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
Smell it come out with the breeze blow.
All right, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, so the interior, a couple of missions on the interior. First is improve the ergonomics. We talked about space, so that was a big deal. Improving every touch point. We call them touch points in design, so everything you touch is soft now, it's wrapped, it's really tailored. And then the other thing was really getting the technology in. So starting with the steering wheel, we talked about the New York Auto Show. The steering wheel is kind of the centerpiece. We sweat the steering wheel so much this time around. I have an Abarth now. I love how that feels, nice and chunky wheel. We did a lot of research on competitive sports car wheels, and this is, to me, one of the best sports car wheels out there in terms of the way it feels. A lot of technology at the fingertips now, some best practices from other parts of our company. And we brought in the 8.5-inch screen, the 7-inch TFT in the middle. And we're doing it in such a way that if you don't want technology, you don't really have to worry about it. It's going to be a tack, everything's there. But if you're a geek like me, and you want to kind of really geek out on your car, there's all kinds of gauges. We've got, again, the performance pages, which we have in our other SRT products. We have track maps now. We have a lot of downloadable content on SD cards that you can get. We'll be doing that later on as the car comes out. So if you're one of those people that really love technology, you can really have fun with the Viper. We have launch control now. We have multi-mode traction control. So the car, if you want to go back to the raw element, you can pretty much put the car in that setting and you're on your own. The only thing it will have at that point is ABS, the rest is on you. And you can have race mode. We have all kinds of cool stuff where the car is really flexible and really can match the owner's skill level and potential. Hats off to the interior team. I think what you're seeing here, this happens to be the two-tone red. We'll have